Good morning. Good morning from Melbourne, Australia. Good evening to friends in North America, and hello to anyone watching on replay. My name is Nancy Hetker, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Melbourne, Australia. And today I'm going to be making a card with the Thoughtful Wishes stamp set. This is part of, which set is a part of? Thoughtful Journey, I believe. Yes, the Thoughtful Journey suite. And it's new, obviously, in this new catalog, but it's new to me. I haven't had it for even a week yet. The suite has all kinds of great things that I'm not actually using today, except for the stamp set. But I think I've decided that this is going to be the suite that I feature in my winter stamp camp coming up in July. So stay tuned for details about that. Let me double check my video here because my end shows that it's stopped, but my phone, yep, we're doing okay. I don't know what the deal is here. There we go. So let's keep going. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a blended background for you today. And this is going to use a tip that I saw another demonstrator do. So I've got a pre-cut piece of basic white. And this is, when we make layers, we have our card base and then one layer down and then two layers down. This is my second layer down, which in metric is 13.9 by 9.5. And in imperial inches, that would be 5 by 3.75, 3 3/4. And I'm going to bring in Granny Apple Green and Azure Afternoon, and some blending brushes. And normally I would swirl on some ink and have at it, but it can be kind of streaky and blotchy and not blend so well. So I'm actually going to take, and sometimes even before I learned this little trick, I was putting ink onto blocks to use as a palette. I vary what I do, but there are both of those, and that should be plenty of ink. But this other demonstrator showed that if you take a little bit of glycerin, and this is glycerin, you can get it at drugstores or chemists, I believe. I got mine here in Australia just from Woolies. Just gonna put a little bit on there. I know when I lived in Arizona, I bought it at Sprouts. So there's a variety of places that you can get it. And that is going to help the ink blend more smoothly. And so I've got my blending brush. This one happens to be a small one. It doesn't really matter. And you just pick up some of the glycerin and you pick up some of the ink. And still, I would say start on scratch paper so you don't get a big blotch when you first go on. But it just helps that ink blend out a bit more. So I'm going to start there. And then I'm going to come in with some Granny Apple Green. And because I'm left-handed, I do it this orientation, and I move my paper around, and so I'm not crossing over. I just find that easier. for me personally. And I'm going to do a little bit more of the green than the blue. If you're here, please do say hello so I know you're following along. And I do see it whether you're watching on replay or while I'm live. So I just love to see who's been following along. And I'm going to come back in and do a little bit more of the blue, I think. And it blends so nicely with that little bit of glycerin in there. So I am really glad to have found that tip. I haven't found a downside to it yet, except that it stays a little bit tacky for a little bit longer maybe, which is probably what helps it blend so well. I like that. I like the variations. You know, I could work to get something really cohesive, but I don't mind having it a little bit blotchy. It's not really blotchy, it's just got a little color variation, but it looks more natural that way, I think, because it's going to be a scene. It's going to be the background for flowers. So there's that. I'm going to get those out of the way. I would normally go and clean this block right away so I didn't get anything in it, but I'm just going to put it off to the side and cross my fingers. So there is that. Hi Gladys, thanks for joining me. Yes, I'm on today. It's a normal day here. Yeah, I guess for you, well, the normal day for you too. I need to put my my Facebook Live posts up, I guess. I bet those have run out. Facebook only lets me schedule them so far in advance, and I sometimes forget to go back and check and make sure that, you know, join me live in 2 hours posts. So that's probably my reminder to do that. Okay, so I haven't played with these right after doing it. So I am actually going to set this one aside and bring in one that I made yesterday, because I know this one's fully dry and I know I'm not going to have any bleeding issues. So you can see I've got two of them here, slightly different, same, oh, not the same size card. Grabbed the wrong one. That's fine. We're going to use this one. And it's a little bit bowed, but that's okay. It will lie flat when I glue it. But that's another indication that there was just a little bit more moisture because of the glycerin in there. And I am going to bring in two of the images from Thoughtful Wishes. Here we go. And my Memento Tuxedo Black. And you remember I've purchased an uninked white craft pad with the refill, chucked the refill into my stash, and inked it up with Memento to get that nice foam pad. And now I'm going to stamp here. And I've done this in my head, but I haven't tried it in real life yet. So I'm still kind of playing with it in my mind, how I exactly want it to be. Now this one, I think these are poppies. Okay. And this one, you can see it doesn't come all the way down, which I'm not so happy with, but I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Up marker, except I'm actually going to bring in these we used to carry. And I'm just going to draw in some stems here. Not that they're great, but at least it makes it so they're not kind of floating out there. Okay, and now I'm going to bring in some blends to do a bit of coloring in. Good morning, Jenny. Wouldn't let you watch on your iPad. That's odd. Okay, so I've got Granny Apple Green here. And again, I haven't played with this, so I might go back and change it up depending on how it comes out. Oh, I'm liking this. This is the Granny Apple Green Dark. So it's going right over my background with no problem. Okay, Gladys, thanks for letting me know, because I'll go in and I'll put the reminders up. Yeah, sorry to anybody who missed the reminders on this today. You know, I don't know why Facebook won't let us just put them up for, 6 months at a time, but they're barely 4 or 5 weeks now, I think, maybe 6 weeks. But that's Facebook. Okay, so that's Granny Apple Green Dark. I want to see how the Granny Apple Green Light looks on the blended background. Yeah, they'll do. I don't want them to be exactly the same because they're not the same plant, not the same flower. It looks like this is one that I needed to get. Hopefully I got a new set coming in my next shipment. I don't remember what I ordered. There's that one, and there's that one. Okay, I can go back and add a little bit more if I decide I need it. So this is Petunia Pop, and I'm going to color I think there's thistles. I'm just going to give them a touch of color here. This is fun because it's just adding a little touch of color. So I think I told you last week that Nick's got her new assistance dog, and that has been a big adventure this last week. It's going well. Yeah, it's going very well, but she's having to deal with a doggy dog, which is great. But a doggy dog is her assistance dog, where Booth was a dog who thought he was a human and just really behaved quite well from day one. And Bo is needing a little more hands-on management with things. So it's good. It's good for her. I'm coloring these poppies in with pumpkin pie. And I started with the light and decided I wanted to go a little darker. So this is the pumpkin pie dark. And I may come in and darken up those leaves too. And I do like how these are just going right over that background with no problem. And obviously you could do the same sort of thing with some designer series paper as your background instead of a blended background. Yeah, those leaves need to darken up a bit. Let me try another layer of the light. There we go. I wonder what happens if I come in with a layer of, this is Lemon Lime Twist, which is going to be slightly different, maybe. See if it, yeah. This is not going to look just like the Granny Apple Green dark, is my hope. So this is Lemon Lime Twist dark. Yeah, and that's still giving me a different look than the Granny Apple Green dark, but it's darker than the Granny Apple Green light. So I'm happy. And there we go. I think that's it for the coloring. Get those out of the way. And now to mount it up, I've got basic white thick card base, and you can see that's got a big, big border. And I brought in deckled rectangles. That's these. And they are made to mat very, very well on letter cardstock proportions. And we often, and I could absolutely go in and cut out like so and mount it on, and then mount it on here. You can see that would mount very nicely on there. But I don't want to do that. I like this size. I like how it fits on here. So what I did was I cut out one, and then I cut out a little bit more. Just, I cut out, and then I made a second cut from what was left from my piece of black cardstock. And what I am finding is that will go on there very nicely. And then I should be able to glue that on at the end and you won't even see it. So I'm going to start with this side. I find my glue here. And there we go. Like so. And then I'm going to put glue there and glue there. And now I'm going to match that up. Like that. And voila, you really, I mean, I'm right on top of it and I cannot see a seam at all. And that's going to go on there. So here's where I have questions about finishing it off. Do I put a sentiment on there? And if so, do I? Do one of these or one of these. Thinking this is Simply Said. It's another brand new one, and it's from the front where they of the catalog where they talk about mix and match. And I'm going to bring that in because it's easy to miss it. Here it is down here, especially for those of us who are kind of avid crafters and we're not so into the note cards and the ephemeras. But this is just a great, simple, I mean, it's Simply Said, right? It's got great variety of sentiments, and I think I'm going to try. Let me grab a little bit of black here. I didn't set up for this because I really wasn't sure I was going to do it, but let's give it a go. I'm going to bring in my embossing buddy. And again, if you don't know, that reduces any stray oils or static that could be on the cardstock and make it so you don't get a lot of stray stray embossing powder. I can't think and talk at the same time. And I'll bring in some Versamark, which is sticky ink. And grab my mess box. And my embossing powder. There, you see almost no stray powder anywhere. out of there. And then here's my heat tool. And I'm going to let it heat up for just a minute to minimize warping and discoloration and maximize how fast it melts. There we go. You can see it gets bright white and glossy, melted right down. Let's go. Get that out of there. And there it is. And I'm just going to grab die or two. Now, if I really wanted to match up, what I would do is double cut it with that. And I'm thinking about that. But I could also use, this is from Happy Little Things. That's almost long enough. This is not going to be long enough. This is from Hearts and Hugs. And I could do that. Cut it off there. You know what? I'm going to do the double cutting. And I'm going to show you how that works. If you haven't seen it before. Let me grab. Okay. This is my mini cut and emboss. We just found out there's going to be a promo in June where you can get 10% off either a full size or a mini cut and emboss. Those like never go on sale. Or an extra 10% off any bundle, stamp and die bundle in the annual catalog. So that's pretty cool. That's a nice promo. So there'll be more about that in my newsletter. If you have not signed up for my newsletter, which has thinking and talking, yes, which has a free tutorial in it every month. And all kinds of information about what I'm doing, what Stampin' Up's doing. That didn't stick, so it moved. Come on, guys. Okay, so I'm positioning it where I want it on these three sides, left, right, and top. And I'm going to cut that out. If you don't have a cut and emboss machine and you're thinking, which one do I buy? Let me tell you right now, get the big one first. This mini one is fun and it's convenient, especially when I'm doing the videos. But you will be very sad if you go to use full-size, bigger dies or full-size embossing folders or even our gigantic ones we have now. And you only have this one because it will not cut the big ones. You won't be able to fit them in at all, and you will be sad. Okay, so you can see what I'm doing. I'm repositioning the die so that it cuts off equidistant from the top along the bottom, and it's fitting inside. So it should just cut exactly how I want with the same deckled edge as the others. I think I'm going to be happy with that. Let's see. Oh yeah. I just put my tape right back on there to use another time. Get that out of the way. My craft room is such a mess at the moment. It's got everything from my class this past weekend all over the place. New stuff, stuff from projects I pulled out to work on and haven't put away yet. There we go. And that, see, I like it with the same edge as what's going on with the mat. I'm not sure yet if I want it free floating or up against there. I think free floating works better somehow. I'm going to glue this down. I think I want it flat, and I'm going to pop that up. So there you can see there's a little glue where that seam was. But this way, you cannot see it. Love it. Go. I think that's going to go on there. And then I was trying to decide if I wanted butterflies or the dragonflies and birds. I think the butterflies. I think they're the more the right size. I'm glad these carried over into this catalog. I think they're very fun. So let's go ahead and put that on. Bring in some mini dimensionals. Yeah, I had been thinking about wrapping some black baker's twine around there, but I don't think we need that. Just do that. And where's my take your pick? Let's put, sometimes these are easier with just my fingers maybe. Depends on how well my fingers are working. I think it's that the sticky tack is cold. I'm concentrating. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It used to be 3. Always 3. I'm leaning more towards 5. Always odd numbers. Occasionally I'll find something where it really needs to be an even number, but not usually. So there we go. Let me turn this over so it's not. There we go. that is my card for today. Thank you for joining me. If you have any questions or need to sign up for that newsletter that I told you about, nancysniftynotes.com, or email me, nancy@nancysniftynotes.com. If there is a set that you'd like me to do a project with on my Facebook Live, or a technique, or you have a question, just pop me an email. I am happy to address those. And I will be back same time, same place next week. See you then. Bye-bye.